Let's be real. Your business is probably drowning in data. We're talking emails, customer reviews, social media posts. It's a mess. But what if I told you that mess is hiding your next big breakthrough? Well, in this explainer, we're going to turn all that chaos into some serious clarity. So let's get into it. Okay, let's just start with a number that should really get your attention. 80%. Up to 80% of all the data a business generates is unstructured text. It's not sitting in neat little rows and columns in a spreadsheet. It's just, words. And that's really the heart of the matter, isn't it? If you're only looking at your sales figures and all that structured data, you are missing the vast majority of the story. You're missing the why that's hidden in those customer reviews, the frustration in support emails, and the pure excitement on social media. So how do we start to tackle this massive 80% problem? Well, the first step is to just demystify all the jargon. You've probably heard terms like NLP and LLMs thrown around, but we're going to cut through the noise and see what they actually mean for your business. Let's break this down super simple. On one side, you've got things like NLP and LLMs. I want you to think of these as the engine. It's the complex, super powerful technology under the hood that gets grammar and context. Then on the other side, you have text analytics. That's the car itself. It's the application that actually uses the engine to get you somewhere valuable. Okay, so if text analytics is the car, how in the world does the engine actually work? I mean, how do we get a computer, a machine that only gets numbers, to make any sense out of human language? And this, right here, is the central issue we have to solve. You can't just do math on a sentence. A computer has no idea what love or frustrated means. It just gets ones and zeros. So the whole goal is to translate words into numbers. This process is called vectorization, and it's kind of the magic trick that turns all that messy human language into something a machine can finally work with. So how's it done? It's basically a three-step process. First, we clean up the text, make everything lowercase, get rid of punctuation, and toss out common words like the and a. Second, we count. We literally just tally up how many times each word shows up. This is called a bag of words. Finally, and this is the really clever part, we score the words using a method called TF-IDF. Think of it this way. The word engine in one car review is probably pretty important, but the word engine in a book that has engine on every page, not so much. TF-IDF is what helps us find the words that are uniquely important to this specific comment. All right, so we've turned our words into this nice, clean table of numbers. Now what? What can we actually do with it? Well, this section is all about the business. So what? It's about giving your brand the ultimate vibe check. The first and probably most common application is something called sentiment analysis. And it is exactly what it sounds like, figuring out if a customer review or a tweet is positive, negative, or just neutral. It's like taking the pulse of your entire customer base. But, context is everything. Take a look at this review. The person says the update is okay, which sounds neutral, right? But then they say it's way too slow and crashed twice. That tells a very, very different story. So what would you call that? Positive? Negative? It's not so easy, is it? This is the core challenge. Simple keyword lookups just can't handle this kind of context, or sarcasm, or mixed feelings. And this is exactly where the more sophisticated models really, really shine. Okay, so if sentiment tells you how people feel, topic modeling is what tells you what they're feeling about. It can automatically scan thousands of comments and pull out the main themes, the core things people are actually talking about. Think of it kind of like a clustering algorithm, but for words. It just groups words that tend to show up together. So after you run it on thousands of your support tickets, you might see these themes pop up. Now you can walk into your boss's office and say, hey, it turns out 25% of all our support tickets are about password resets. Now that is an actionable insight. Okay, so we've got the concepts down, but what tools do analysts actually use to get all this done? Let's take a quick peek inside the toolbox. You've basically got three main paths you can go down. First is build your own with code like Python or R. This gives you total control, perfect for really custom solutions. Second, you can use SaaS tools. Think Brandwatch or Qualtrics. These are ready-to-go platforms, awesome for marketing teams who need dashboards and quick answers. And finally, you can use cloud APIs from places like Google or Amazon. This is basically like renting a super powerful AI brain for a while. giving you top-tier analysis without having to build a single model from scratch.
All right, let's bring it all home. In this last section, we're going to see how all these concepts and tools come together to create some real, tangible value out there in the wild. This is where the rubber meets the road. So picture this. You work in retail, and you see this terrifying problem. One of your most popular products suddenly has a terrible rating, like 2.5 stars. Your first instinct is probably to panic and blame the product itself. But wait. By running topic modeling on all those reviews, you find the real culprit. And guess what? It's not the product at all. It's the new packaging that keeps breaking. Text analytics just saved you from spending a ton of time and money fixing the wrong problem. Or let's kick it up a notch with a high-stakes example from finance. How can a bank possibly monitor millions of transactions every single day for fraud in real time? Well, the key isn't just flagging simple keywords. A really sophisticated model analyzes the context. It learns that a transaction note that says, "for the gift," with those suspicious quotation marks, is weird. A simple keyword search would totally miss that nuance. But a text analytics model flags it instantly, maybe even freezing the transaction for review. So if you take one thing away from this, let it be this. Text analytics is one of the most powerful skills you can learn because it unlocks the stories hidden in the majority of your company's data. It finally gives a voice to that 80% that has been silent until now. And that really just leaves us with one final question to think about. Whether it's in your business, your field of study, or even just in your daily life, what silent stories are just waiting to be told in all the text data that's all around you?